If you asked me what my favourite Obayashi film was, like most fans of his work, I'd be drawn to say House. Still to this day is one of the most unique films I have ever seen. Apparently inspired by the dreams of his younger daughter, House creates a cinematic atmosphere that even Obayashi himself struggled to recreate. It truly feels like lightning in a bottle. As I began to delve deeper into his filmography, I learned that Obayashi was a complex director with ideas and feelings that traversed many eras. And whilst House has remained a favourite of mine, I appreciate the often deep character studies of films like His Motorbike, Her Island, the dreaminess of something like The Little Girl Who Conquered Time, or the fantastical nature of a film like School in the Crosshairs or The Drifting Classroom. One thing that permeates all of these films and his filmography is a sense of youthfulness, or more specifically, the naivety of youth. But not in a negative way, often it's celebrating it as the world still feels so magical through the eyes of a younger character. Just as his films often don't follow the bureaucratic rules of cinema, children don't yet know the rules of life. And this is where Obayashi thrives as a filmmaker. One of the best things about a director like Obayashi, though, is that they have directed so many films, meaning you can often still find new favourites, new moments, and new ideas as you continue to understand them more as a filmmaker. For me, that happened this very weekend when I watched, for the first time, Obayashi's 1992 film, The Rocking Horsemen, which is exactly what we're going to talk about today. This is one of, in my opinion, Obayashi's best films. Now, I'm very familiar with Obayashi's work. I've seen quite a lot of his must-see films. I even got the luxury of producing a video essay for a box set of his that was released with Third Window. I'm really proud of that and what I did. And I truly feel that I've seen a good chunk of his films and understand him as a filmmaker. But the thing is, when a director's directed as much as Obayashi has, you're always finding more. And The Rocking Horsemen was one that I feel flies under the radar. The Rocking Horsemen, like so many of Obayashi's films, is a coming-of-age story that focuses on the transition from child to adult. Our main focus is on Takeyoshi, a young student who lives the fairly normal, mundane Japanese life of the time. His life revolves around school and his grades. Even his hobby of playing the violin is more of an extracurricular activity than a true hobby. He lives in a nuclear household and has, by all accounts, a pretty unremarkable life. One day, listening to the radio, Takeyoshi hears Pipeline for the first time, and his whole world changes. For Takeyoshi, like many Japanese youth at the time, this influx of American culture was an awakening moment. As a result, he becomes obsessed with rock and roll and soon learns of friends with the same passion. Notably, we see an early performance from the very own Asano as one of the eventual band members. The film unfolds into a narrative about Takeyoshi and his friends working as hard as they can over summer to buy instruments, spending every moment they can rehearsing and practicing. It shows the struggles of finding a rehearsal space, the obsessive nature of teenagers, and compiles the journey of youth into a singular experience. It's a snapshot of the best moments of their life, and we as the audience get to experience it with them. Obayashi chooses to display the entire film in an almost montage state. We use quick edits, and the rhythm follows that of a memory more than a film. We jump quickly, we follow the important beats, and we skip, most importantly, the mundane. Takeyoshi often narrates or even directly talks to the camera as though we are going through his memories. In a way, the film reminds me of films like Winda Winda Winda, or a more recent one like A Summer Movie. It has that charmful, youthful quality about it where children don't have the worries of adult life, yet they have nothing but dreams, and nothing but the time to follow those dreams. We never really feel any sense of typical conflict in the narrative either. This isn't them against the music industry or their unapproving parents, where we build to a triumphant performance at the end to prove they were doing the right thing. It's not about falling out or any of the expected conflicts that a narrative like this might approach. It's just about those happy youthful moments and the memories of growing up. However, that's not to say it's a simplistic film. Obayashi chooses to remind us of when we had dreams, when we thought we'd be rock stars, or something other than whatever you ended up doing as a career. Unlike the other films I mentioned, The Rocking Horseman has this bittersweet quality. Of course, it has a lovely and romantic view of youth, but it has this looming presence that it's coming to an end. In the final moments of the film, Obayashi chooses to play out this very bittersweet moment when the children go their separate ways, and ultimately we know the band's coming to an end. We're left reflecting with the characters in that very moment. It wasn't some big breakup though that ended the band, it wasn't some cinematic finale, it was becoming adults that brought it to an end. Their dream moves aside as the looming adult life takes it away from them. As a result, Obayashi makes the film feel as though you're looking through a photo album. You feel like you're listening to these boys catching up over a beer as adults, saying, remember when we practiced there and it rained? Remember when I set you up on that date? Remember the first day trying to get all our gear back to our house on our bikes? Remember our camping trip? That's what this film is all about. Remembering the best moments of it all. And Obayashi captures this with every detail of the film. That's what makes the Rocking Horsemen so powerful. It doesn't dwell in heartbreak or try to dramatize the ending. It just accepts it, because that's what youth is. It happens quickly, it burns brightly, and then it fades into memory. Obayashi never tries to over-explain that shift. He just lets it happen in front of us as the audience and allows us to remember when it happened to us. It's as natural and subtle as real life. You don't notice when this change happens, it just happens. One day, you're in your job and you're no longer chasing that dream. And in doing so, it hits even harder because we all relate to it. We almost yearn for a happy ending in the film. Whilst other films would end with the end of year show or some other drama event, Obayashi lets us live through the transition away from it all. He lets the memory fade into the bittersweet moments because it's more painful memories that remind us of the happy ones. The final scene isn't a big emotional climax, it's just a soft landing. A quiet reminder that these moments, no matter how intense they felt at the time, eventually settle into nostalgia. And for Obayashi, that seems to be the whole point of the film. He's not trying to recreate youth, he's trying to remember it, to honor it, to hold it still for just a little longer before it disappears, to remind you of what it was like to be young. Watching The Rocking Horsemen, I didn't feel like I was being told a story. I felt like I was being let into a memory, one I didn't even live, but somehow I recognized it. That's Obayashi's magic. He captures something that's not about plot or structure or even dialogue. It's about a feeling, a moment, or even a sound on the radio that changes everything. And maybe that's why I love this film so much, because it doesn't try to be profound, it just lets you feel something. And in a world of loud, over-explained cinema, there's something really beautiful about a film that chooses to whisper instead. Okay guys, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. I truly think it's one of his best achievements as a director, and I truly believe it's so underseen and it needs to be watched by more people. So if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. If you have seen The Rocking Horsemen, let me know what you think about it. And if you've made it to the end of the video, please tell me in the comments down below what's your favourite Obayashi film.